Hi guys, and welcome to my review for the CVJ Konoka. Before I start, I just want to apologize for taking my time to having reviewed it, but life happens, and so this one just kind of was left behind without any intention to do so. Anyway, what is the Konoka? The Konoka is a CVJ's take on a gaming IEM, and gaming IEMs are something which are slowly picking up in interest. There's a lot of brands that are now slowly making IEMs tailored for the gaming end of things. A couple of months ago I reviewed the EPZ, the G20, and that was also a gaming IEM, but that one I think was perhaps it could do well with gaming. I'm not going to deny it could do well with gaming, but I think where its main calling card or its main feature lay was in its let's call it audiophile capabilities of playing music really well. While the Konoka, no, the Konoka is an IEM that is focused on being a gaming IEM, and it has a feature which is the fact that it uses besides the dynamic driver and the BA that is being used, it uses a third driver, which is you could say a bone conduction driver to a certain extent. You could say you could call it that, although it's not exactly that. It's a driver which vibrates basically, okay, and these vibrations are then transmitted into the shell and ultimately as well into the ear, and you feel these vibrations. The idea here is to have these vibrations be implemented below a certain frequency, and when you actually graph it, you can see this vibration of this driver happening from around 400 hertz, give or take, down. You feel it working. You feel it's doing its thing. Let's put it that way. Anyway, as I said, this is a hybrid, 1+1+1. It's got also tuning switches. Let me just quickly show you the box. The box is a very simple affair from CVJ, nothing too fancy. You have the outer sleeve, and then this thing would be nice if it would open. All right, there we go. Opens up. The IEMs came over there. The section. Okay, this lifts out. Some paperwork, and inside the other little box here. Actually, better do it this way. Okay, better do it like this. And then inside this little box you have the tips, a tool for adjusting the switches, and also as well the cable, which it's not a bad cable, but it's nothing great as well. And this is basic, and just no frills. We're talking an IEM that's being sold for around $17 to $20, depending on where you get it. I got this particular one from Hi-Fi Go, by the way, accessories is not where they spent money. They spent money in trying to implement this novel technology. They are the first ones to use it. TRN has since also done something along the lines of this, which they call the Mars. But anyway, these ones are the first. Okay, let me now just put this out of the way here. Okay, there we go. So here we have. I actually got two of them. I've got a black one and I've got a clear one. The construction is fine. It's a plastic shell. It's not bad. It's got a decent enough shape. The switches are there on the top section, as you can see. Okay, 2-pin connection. Fits reasonably nicely. Actually, let me show you the transparent one. It's better. Okay, so the transparent one, you can see there we have underneath the nozzle the dynamic driver. The vibration driver is over there, and then on the actual nozzle itself is where you find the BA driver. Okay, so that's this. If you notice carefully, if you are paying it close attention, you will see that this one has a little damper there on the hole which exits the vibration damper, and if you look as well inside the nozzle, it's also been modified. It's not exactly stock anymore, and I'll get into that. With regards to the black one is basically stock. No filters there on the whole of the damper, as you can see. There we go. Of the vibration driver, sorry. But the nozzle has been modified as well. Okay, so let's divide this into two parts. As its intention, which is a IEM to be used for gaming and for watching movies or stuff like that, I think that what they've achieved with the Konoka is decent. Is decent, and it sets the stage for much better things to come. Not only from them, I'm sure they have some newer models, improved models, in the works. But also other brands are definitely going to be implementing this technology, because it is a smart technology. It was somewhat not in this precise manner, but it was something similar to this was and has been used in higher end IEMs, bone conduction. So this vibration driver to convey a haptic feel to the lower frequencies is a smart thing of boosting the engagement, especially when you are gaming or when you're watching movies. I don't do much gaming, but I did watch a couple of movies, and let me tell you something. You watch something like Jurassic Park, whichever one it is, on this thing, and it is a lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun. I'm not saying that you can't have an equally interesting reproduction with just a normal IEM, but this was made for that. So the fact that it vibrates and you feel this whole vibration going and everything, it's highly engaging. It's very satisfying, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching movies with it, because that's basically what I do with it on that setup. I don't play games, so I can't really have a concrete opinion about it. So as a gaming IEM, I think they've done a good job. Where have they maybe left margin for improvement? I think it's in the way that they've tuned the rest of the drivers. Not so much the BA, okay? As I've mentioned, there's these switches here, okay? The first switch basically turns on or off the BA, while the second switch turns on or off the vibration, driver. When you turn off both of them, okay, it's just the dynamic driver working, and the way that they've tuned it is very, very bright. That 2 to 3K area there is very pronounced, and then it's got a few other peaks following that as well, which makes this thing at lower volumes interesting. But at lower volumes, then you don't get the engagement of the vibration driver 100%. So you have to crank it up a little bit to feel the vibration driver working. Okay, and then that's where all hell breaks loose, because this thing is going to try to murder you and kill you. That's the reality. I bought two precisely to have a better perception of how those mids and upper mids and highs are done, if it was just maybe a fluke or it was exaggerated. And it is exaggerated, because the actual dynamic driver has got a very nice curve. The dynamics driver tuning in terms of the bass resembles very much what you get in terms of the curve from the CVJ Freedom or from the CVJ May. So it's a very nice, well done bass curve, not bloated, not exaggerated, not overemphasized. It's got about a 6 dB gain, so really, really nice. Honestly, really nice. But then, because of this lack of dampening in the post pinna gain area, this thing is just unreal. So what have I done? Well, there's two ways you can do this. Stock, it brings a 200 grade filter. Okay, the stock filter that's on the nozzle is a 200 grade. You can leave that 200 grade filter on there and throw on top of it a 400 or a 500 grade, 4.5 mil in diameter. Okay, and it will effectively give you anywhere between 600 to 650 of total dampening. Or then you can just take out that stock one out. And I tried first just a single 500, and I tried then two 500s, making up 1,000 stacked. And that's what I have on here, and that's what I have on there. Okay, so these have been modified with two 500 grade 4.5 millimeter dampers on the nozzle, yielding 1,000 of damping effect on each, on each of the sides. And on there as well, on the white one, I have exactly the same situation, plus a Wi-Fi filter, a Wi-Fi grade filter on the hole that exits the vibration driver, sorry. Okay, so there's a Wi-Fi there and two 500 grades on the nozzle. Going now that we've discussed the aspects of its gaming capabilities in that setup, okay, which is with the 1.1 setup going, how does it then sound without the vibration damper and without the BA? Okay, and that's where this one comes in. I actually did this on purpose so that I could swap over from both of them in a quicker manner. Without the BA working, so just 0, on the switches they are setting, the sound is, and with the mod that I've done to it, of course, the sound is very, very satisfying. It is not a detailed sound. No, it's not a detailed sound. It loses a little bit of detail, although the curve you wouldn't think would give or be an indication of that much loss of detail. But it is a very nice, warm sounding, harmonish tuned kind of tuning that you get, and it sounds very nice, very engaging, very relaxed, very smooth. And if you actually put on the vibration damper, it still works and it still adds its effect, but the combination has become now much more pleasant, and what it enables you is to be able to crank up the volume, get the benefits of the vibration driver working, okay, get all that engagement, but keep things within tabs and not trying to kill me, okay. But it's not with the vibration damper that I want to talk about now. What I want to talk about is how is it then with the BA and with the DD. So without the vibration, not the vibration damper, here I go again, always say that, the vibration driver working, just the BA and the DD. With the BA and the DD, automatically the BA adds a little bit extra sparkle, especially past the 8, 9, 10K area. It adds a little bit of energy there. And if before we were facing, or we were in the presence of an IM, it was somewhat darker sounding. It didn't lack detail. There was detail, not loads of it, but there was a little bit of detail there, you know. It was inoffensive. It wasn't fatiguing. It wasn't going to kill you with its, you know, its sibilance or anything of the sort. Now with the BA working and adding to give that little extra energy above that 8, 9, 10K area, it sounds absolutely fantastic. It sounds really, really nice for what it is, for the simplicity of what it is, and for what it costs. It sounds really, really nice. It sounds so nice that it gave me hints of the Transgen 1 when I was listening to it. There's hints there, okay? So, as a 1+1, okay? So 1 BA, 1 DD with the mods done, all right? And I listened both to this one and to this one. And they are exactly the same, trust me. They sound exactly the same, and they measure almost exactly the same as well. The sound is very nice. It's got a nice, it's not the fastest bass in the world, but it's got a nice weight. It's got a nice dynamic feel to it. It's got very decent texture, nice tonality, nice timbre. The mids are perfectly executed, very smooth, nothing aggressive, nothing forward, nothing in your face. I would say male vocals stand out a little bit more than female vocals. Technically, in terms of timbre and tonality as well, the mid-range is flawless in my opinion, considering the price, obviously, of course. And then up top, there's more than enough detail, in my opinion, to complement everything nicely in the rest of the frequency range, without even running the risk of being aggressive or overly forward or shouty or anything of the sort, okay? Technically, look, I can say, yes, okay, it's got acceptable soundstage, decent enough imaging, decent enough detailed resolution, but that's not what it was made for. This was made for being an IM, for you to enjoy movies and gaming and a lot of fun with that. That's it. If you leave it in its absolute stock format, just be warned that if you're going to use it for gaming and so on and so forth, it can get a little bit too excessively bright, a little bit too, it can be harsh, okay? Therefore, my recommendation is do the vent mod, either just plonk 2 500 filters stacked on top of each other and remove completely what is there, or then leave what is there and plank a 500 on top, and you'll have about anywhere between 600 to 700 dampening. So ultimately what it means, it will be just a little bit more energetic than the one that I have here, all right? That's the one way, or the way that you should use it, but because there is switches, and the switches enable us to turn off the vibration thingamabob and just use it as a single DD or a hybrid in its 1+1 configuration, absolutely flawless. It is really, really nice, non-fatiguing. It's got much improved detailed retrieval over the single DD. It's got great texture, you know. It sounds really, really good. It sounds good, obviously not forgetting in the context of what we were talking about, a sub $20 IM, right? It sounds great. It sounds fantastic, and you know, the fact that it offers these two dual personalities, the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, so it can be either relaxed and smooth and, you know, nicely sounding, and enable you to actually listen to some music and enjoy it, it can, at the flick of a switch, transform itself into an absolute beast. And you know, really bring you in and draw you in if you're playing games or if you're watching movies, like I said. All right. Anyway, guys, that's basically my take here on the Konoka. I am expecting some seriously good stuff with this technology, and I hope that CVJ will be in the forefront of showing us that technology, because they are the ones that came out with this. Okay, so it would be nice to carry on seeing them lead the pack and being the ones that are in front and are a step ahead of the rest. That is something that I really would like to see happen. Guys, I'll show you another graphs and we'll wrap it up. Alright, take care. Hi guys, and welcome now to my graph section for the Konoka. This is the Konoka in its stock format, with both switches off, so no vibration driver working, only the dynamic driver. This is basically just dynamic driver because the BA is also off. And then when you put it in its 1-1 position, which is enough to then showcase the intermediate positions as well, is you have the BA now added to the equation, which gives you that extra energy up top. And these basically squiggly lines that you see here are proof that that vibration driver is working. All right, so this is how it is in stock format. And in stock format we have basically got 63 to 77, so we're talking about like 12 dB gain here of pinna gain. And although we have this dip, and to a certain extent, thank God we have this dip, this peak is way too prominent, and then still has another peak there at around 5. And it just makes for an IM that if you're not careful with your source and with the volume, it can be aggressive. At low down volumes, it's nice and, you know, plenty detailed, it helps out with the technicalities and so on. But when you start pushing it, it doesn't scale in the most pleasant of manners. So what did yours truly do? Well, yours truly went and did this. Okay, so the blue line is the stock Konoka, switches in the 0-0 position. The red line is the stock Konoka, switches in the 0 position, so the BA is not activated, okay, but with the either two 500 dampers on the nozzle, or then you leave the stock 200 and you add a 500, and basically you'll get the same curve, just a little bit more energetic. Okay, I think the curve as well speaks for itself. It's very self-explanatory. Gone is all that forwardness, all that shoutiness. Some of you might say, oh, but it's going to make it dark and it's going to lose its energy. Surprisingly, no. Especially if you have it in the 1+1 configuration with the BA working. Okay, especially if you do that. So if you give it that extra energy then of the BA here, it sounds really good. It sounds really, really good. And just for the sake of comparison, because I actually didn't talk about it during the review, but just for you to see what kind of curve we get in here. The one that I just placed up now is the SIMGOT EW200. It's a reference under $50, and basically what we get is a very similar curve in terms of the bass. Up to 2K is equal, and it's just less energetic between the 2 and 8K area. Just got a little bit less energy, but you feel that it's got, I'm not going to say equal amount of detail because it doesn't, but it's got a lot of the DNA of the SIMGOT, just with a lower level of energy. Okay, another one that you can have just a quick peek in to see how it is the CVJ May. Okay, the CVJ May, I think it's again self-explanatory. Very, very similar in the bass, in the way that they graph. When you listen to it, yes, you do pick up on the better bass execution on the part of the May. Well, you should, and then also you notice that this whole area here of the mids, upper mids, and treble, although it looks less energetic than the modified Konoka, no, it is superior. But again, there's the same sort of DNA of the May in this modified Konoka in stock format. And just one more final one in terms of these similar IEMs is the Freedom, which is this one. And the Freedom, again, I've actually got the other Freedom with the BA working, so imagine now you had the other BA working here for the Konoka, and it would basically emulate the same thing here. So as you can see, another very similar sounding IEM Yes, obviously the Freedom is superior, but it's the basic DNA of the Konoka with this mod, and without the vibration driver working is basically a sound DNA which is reminiscent of the May, of the Freedom, and of the EW200. Okay, anyway, that's that part there out of the way. With the vibration driver working, which is no, not this one, sorry, which is no, not this one, yes, this one, yeah. Okay, with the vibration driver working, and I'm just showing you the stock format, so stock graph, so you can understand something. We must never forget two things, like I was mentioning. First of all, you want this vibration to be transmitted to your ear as best as possible. Okay, so my recommendation is to use a tip which is the stiffest tip possible, and by having a stiff tip, not only do you lower to a certain extent this influence here, or let's put it, you lower the parasitic vibrations that happen, okay, and you focus more the vibrations into the ear. So a stiffer tip will enable you to feel more the vibration of the vibration driver being channeled into the ear, as opposed to just dispersing itself and vibrating everything and making the sound become very hollow. It's like if you were talking to me or you were listening to me at the end of a tunnel, and you have all that reverb and all that echoing going on. That's how it sounds. So a definite rec that I give is use a strong tip. One. And then the second rec that I give you is modify the nozzle. Put those dampers on there, and trust me, if you don't like it, it's as simple as just taking it out and just leaving it as it is. So if you want to do a mod which is easily undoable, just leave the stock nozzle protection on the actual the filter that's there. Just leave it there, and all you do is just add on top of that the 500 grade, and it will be perfect. It will be flawless. So you basically, this is just for you guys. You basically leave the filter, which is similar to this one, on the nozzle of the Konoka. You throw on top of that the other filter, the 500 grade filter, and that's it. If you don't like it, you can just quickly take it off, and that's it. So those two recs or recs I do recommend. And the third thing that I would also tell you, or try and see if you could also do, is try and insert the IM as much as possible deep into your ear, so that area of the IM where we have the hole for the vibration driver is as much as possible in contact with your ear. Okay, and that will obviously as well also enable a better transmission and more accurate transmission of the vibrations without you getting that echoey sensation. All right, anyway guys, as always, like and subscribe. Any questions you might have, please feel free to ask me. Okay, you take care now. Bye bye.